Welcome back to Spotlight. Yes, so we are having an interesting discussion. Matter of fact, I think we're having more of an interesting discussion than I thought we would have.
Okay.
Because, I mean, you know, HIV has been talked about so many times.
Yeah.
It's like, what else is there to talk about, right? But I'm kind of enjoying the conversation because a lot of different things are coming out. Yes, I'm here with Miss Noeline Levens-Clark. She's the National AIDS Coordinator, National AIDS Program Coordinator, and HIV Regional Testing Day is coming up on the 29th of June, and you can get tested. And I just got a text that to remind the audience, the viewers, that they can get tested anytime.
Yes.
They can. How can they get tested anytime?
An individual can go into any doctor's office. They can go to any health clinic and ask for an HIV test and have it done. Currently at the National AIDS Program, we are providing HIV testing, and a lot of persons come up. I mean, some people come every year, some people have come for the first time. We are located on the second floor of the yellow building where Little Switzerland is, right next to Banco Popular in Rotown. And I don't know how long. We are planning to do training of all healthcare providers. So once that training is done, we will stop. But until then, persons can have HIV tests anytime at any health facility, including the National AIDS Program.
Yeah. Now, you said it's as you keep saying, it's a SDI, it's a sexually transmitted disease.
Infection. Yes.
Infection.
Yes.
But you could also get it through intravenous drug use. You could get it done for
mother to child, tattoos on steroid needles,
blood
piercing, transfusion.
So why are you saying all the time that it's a SDI?
It's considered a sexually transmitted infection, especially in the Caribbean region, because that is the main mode of transmission. In Puerto Rico, which is 60 miles next door, and in Europe, 80% of their cases are from injection drug use. So their stress will not be so much on sex. Their focus will be more on positive prevention and trying to reach drug users. For us, our main mode of transmission is sexual transmission, and so we have to hone in on that and to see what our behaviors are and how they contribute to the epidemic.
But there's a flip side to that, in that you know, you might have gotten HIV not through sexual intercourse,
right?
And because we keep labeling it SDI, it gives you that fear, particularly if you're in a relationship, that you've done something wrong.
Yes.
And if it is that you may not have done anything wrong, but have gotten it by other means, that would make it a lot easier for you to deal with in a family situation.
That is so true. We do have two persons.
Thank you for calling Spotlight. Thank you for calling Spotlight. Hello. Yes, you on Spotlight. Go ahead, please. You need to turn your television down. Get yourself in a location where you can speak directly into your phone without any distraction. I'm sorry, my brother. That's not going to work. But try to get yourself in a location where you don't have a distraction, there's no noise around, your television is turned down or completely off, and you speak directly into your telephone. And please call us back. Yeah, you were saying that.
I was saying that there are two persons in our territory, in our statistics, that have contracted it through blood transfusion abroad.
Okay.
And I agree with you. I mean, that stigma and that overarching sense that they did something wrong. To be honest with you, for me, I don't believe that there are mistakes in life. There are lessons, and the lessons are to be learned. But I agree, persons shouldn't be classified as having an STI just because they contracted a disease that is sexually transmitted.
Okay. Cool. Thank you for calling Spotlight. Go right ahead, please. Speak.
Yes, hello?
Yes, go right ahead. You're on Spotlight.
Yes, good night. I would like to say good night to Ms. Clark.
Good night.
And I would like to say that she's doing a wonderful job.
Thank you.
And I got my test done on Sunday, and I'm so happy.
Excellent.
It was negative, and I would like to tell you to inform the general public that you must inform the young women that even though they have tried their tubes, that does not exempt them from getting AIDS.
Excellent point.
Yes. Well, thank you very much for that call. Anything else? No?
Yeah, hello?
Anything else?
Yes. No, nothing else. Have a good night.
Okay, all the best. Thanks for calling. Appreciate that.
That is such an excellent point.
Yeah.
Yes, it's something that we overlook. Even our older population, a lot of women have been divorced. The spouses have died, they're widows, and men too, and it leaves you in a very vulnerable position. You're very lonely, and so sometimes being in a lonely place, it makes you vulnerable to any advances. And just like she said, women who have their tubes tied, because they know they can't get pregnant, it's like, okay then, and you can still contract HIV or any other STI.
Yes, so you got to be careful.
Yes.
Yes. I have a couple of texts that says, how long can you live with HIV?
You can live for as long as you would live if you didn't have HIV, once you take your treatment as prescribed.
Okay, so there's no limit.
No.
Okay.
No.
Can you get it by a mosquito bite?
Oh Lord, if we could, all of us would be infected.
That's true.
The amazing thing about HIV is that it attaches to a special cell in our body called CD4. Mosquitoes don't have CD4, and when a mosquito bites you, they don't put blood into you, they actually suck your blood. So there's absolutely no way. I mean, you could be in a room full of persons with HIV and mosquito biting everybody, you will never contract HIV by a mosquito.
Okay. That's a good question though.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. Yeah, we were talking about the statistics.
Yes.
And you have in the BVI, you were talking about the Caribbean, and we had some instances where the rates are decreasing, which is an excellent sign. In the BVI, what are the total numbers that have been reported now?
Okay, good question. Okay, in the Caribbean, it's 250,000 persons living with HIV right now.
Okay.
In the BVI, we have had 99 cases reported between June of 1985 and December 2011. 99 cases exactly reported to the surveillance unit, and those reports were made by doctors from the private and the public health sector. And of the 99 cases, we've had 35 persons dying from AIDS-related illnesses, and that was, most of those 35 persons died earlier in the infection.
Okay, so that you mean like between 1980s
and 90s, early 90s. Yes, since I think there's a certain year we haven't seen the death rate as high as before.
And that was, you could primarily attribute that to the fact that the medication, the treatments available,
yes.
The quality of treatments have improved,
yes.
and those sort of things.
Yes.
All right, so cool. Now, we talk about lifestyle.
Yes.
Lifestyle changes and lifestyle activities that, put us in certain situations. What are some of the practices that we engage in that put us at risk? And what are some of the situations that we put ourselves in that put us at risk? What are those factors that increase our risk?
Okay, HIV is transmitted by blood and body fluids, so there are situations where persons can become infected without their choice. I heard a story of a bus having an accident in a country abroad, and the person, blood was flying everywhere, and one person was infected, also got cut, and I think the blood went into either the cut or the eyes of a little girl, a 9-year-old girl, and she tested positive for HIV. So those are instances, they're very rare, but they can happen. But there are situations, sex does not cause HIV. I mean, everybody knows that. You can have sex and you don't get HIV. But having unprotected sex with someone who is infected and you don't know increases your risk of HIV.
So let me take this text here. Okay, this looks like a similar question. What is the death range of HIV? I guess it sounds like how long you could live with HIV.
Right.
Yeah. Or it's a death rate. I think that's two different questions.
Right.
Either one.
Right.
So we could answer both.
Right. Like I said, we've had out of the 99, 35 persons dying of AIDS-related illnesses, and that happened earlier in the infection locally. And like I said, over the last couple of years, over the last 10 or more years, we have not seen the death rate as that high. Many persons are living longer, they're living better with HIV because of treatment.
Okay. And the length of time that you can live with HIV?
You can live for as long as anyone else, or as long as you would live without HIV, as long as you take your medications as prescribed. And not just taking it on time, not diluting it in water, not crushing it, because that changes the effectiveness of the medications, and that can cause a problem.
Okay, I'm going to get back to the lifestyle practices.
Okay.
But we're going to look at some of the text that's going. Good night, fantastic show. You spoke about posters with panties. You should visit Virgin Garden. They're selling sex on every pole. The posters are sick. All the young children can see this. All the little children can seeing this. What can we do about this? So it's all over the place, right? Thank you for calling Spotlight. Go right ahead, please.
Yes, good night. I have a question for Maureen.
Yes.
Yes.
I was wondering, a young lady that's pregnant and has HIV, can the unborn get it?
Excellent question. Okay, what we have done, as with other countries around the world, every woman that is pregnant, we test them as soon as they come into the clinic. So in the first 3 months, most women find out that they're pregnant, they get tested for HIV. We also test in the 3rd trimester, the last 3 months. And if they show positive, we give treatment to prevent them from passing it on. And that treatment has worked. It has worked. A lot of children, we've had 5 women in the territory give birth to children, and 3 of them, the children were negative. 2 were positive. 1 died, the other one is still alive on treatment, and that is because of the successes of treatment. I mean, there's so many other things that can affect it. Woman not taking her medication on time and that kind of thing, but at the end of the day, treatment can prevent a mother from passing the infection on. I must say, however, that 1/3 of women, even with treatment, can pass the infection on, but the risk is decreased with treatment.
One more question.
Sure.
Let's say a young lady has intercourse with a young man that's HIV infected, and like a week later she has intercourse with her boyfriend. Can the boyfriend get it?
Excellent question again. Yes. Once a person has sex, unprotected sex, automatically you're infected. The first 2 weeks we find you are high in passing, the chances of you passing infection on is extremely high. The first 2 weeks, it's a dangerous time. And unfortunately, our test does not pick up HIV in the blood until 2 weeks, most of them 3 months. So a person infected would not know that they're infected. And that's why it's so important to sleep with people, if you sleep with people, to use condoms until you know where they stand. Excellent question. But yes, they can pass it on.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much for that call, my brother.
The amazing thing about testing, though, is that a lot of persons come in, they get tested. And the first question we will ask if they test negative, when was your last sexual intercourse unprotected? And they would say, last week, last night. We always say, come back in 3 months to retest. And during that time, use a condom. Because you may be infected and it's not showing up as yet.
Okay. All right, then we just got another text. Okay, what are the symptoms of HIV?
Excellent question. The amazing thing about HIV is that the symptoms are so vague that a lot of us kind of brush them off, because they're things that all of us experience on a daily basis. Headache, loss of appetite. We feel warm every once in a while. We think it's the hot sun. You know, you get a rash on your skin. The sign that is consistent with HIV is swollen lymph glands. They may come up under your neck, under your arm, and in your groin. Or people, some Caribbean people call it wax and canal. They come and they go. If you find your lymph glands are swelling, going down, it means that your immune system is being attacked and you need to get yourself tested, get yourself checked out. But the symptoms, like I said, they're vague and most people ignore them. That's why people can live up to 15 years with HIV and not know. 15 long years, you're infected and you don't know. It's only at that point in time when your immune system is compromised that you begin to show signs of AIDS. But it's very important. That is why it's so important to get tested.
In the case of Magic Johnson basketball, can someone catch HIV from sweat?
No. I'm so glad you asked. I have a lot of friends with HIV. I hug them, they're sweating, I'm sweating, and I'm still HIV negative. You can't get HIV if somebody cry on you and they're infected. No other way but blood, semen, vaginal secretions, and breast milk. Those are the 4 body fluids. Not sweat, not urine, vomit, no.
Kissing or oral sex?
Good question. We have 1 reported case of someone catching HIV, contracting HIV through French kissing, and that's because one of the partners had a cut in their mouth, and so there was exchange of blood. But French kissing is considered low risk, because people who are HIV infected, we only find HIV in the saliva in a small amount of those persons. Not many persons with HIV have HIV in their saliva. Some do. So it's very important to know who you're sleeping with, who you're kissing. It's still important. As simple as kissing. Yeah. It's important to know.
But a lot of times you have bleeding gums.
You don't know. You have receding gum line. You think your teeth getting longer.
Yeah.
Your gum line shrinking, and so it's exposed.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's something to really be careful with. Yeah, we're talking about lifestyles.
Yes.
And you're talking about men sleeping with men and the sexual activity, but is there something else about the way we behave and the situations we find ourselves in that even make us more prone to those types of sexual behavior?
You know, to be honest with you, I spoke about people being in vulnerable situations. And sometimes it's your mindset, because if you really believe you're going to die from anything and anything goes, you will take chances. So I think it starts with your beliefs, what you believe. All of us have an opportunity to get tested now. Nobody has an excuse for not having an HIV test to know. But like I said, some people prefer not to know and to go ahead taking chances, risk takers. I know where you're getting at, but at the end of the day, there are behaviors that are considered high risk. But like I said, when it all comes down to it, unprotected sex with someone who is infected that you may not know of can cause HIV.
But if you're a kind of person that likes to party, you go out a lot and you drink, the alcohol relaxes you, it makes you lose your inhibition. Somebody's talking to you, you get sexier faster,
tipsy.
Yeah, and you sort of have less control.
That's true.
And become more vulnerable.
Yes.
I mean, are those the types of behaviors?
That's the type of behavior that can contribute to it. Yeah. And a lot of people get drunk, they have sex, and when they wake up, they have not a clue who they slept with. So I mean, that in itself, but it's not one particular situation. There's so many different, and a lot of us find ourselves in vulnerable situations sometimes. I mean, there are persons who get tested and they also get tested with a partner. Sometimes condoms broke. There are many persons who have children because condoms break. I mean, that's another situation that you can find yourself in. You've taken necessary precautions. But
yeah, we need to talk about condom use. I think, because there's a lot of information about condom use and condom breaking.
Yes.
And what causes condom to break, and how to put them on, and what is different sizes, and so we're gonna talk a little bit about that. We gotta take a break. We're gonna come right back with more Spotlight right after this.
Spotlight is brought to you by the National Bank of the Virgin Islands, Tortola Concrete Limited, Gilbert's Painting Contractors, and CCT Global Communications.
Yes, welcome back to Spotlight. We're having a really important and interesting discussion here with Ms. Noeline Clark, the National AIDS Program Coordinator. We're talking about all things about HIV, lifestyle, behavior, the whole thing. We have a text that we have to read. It's interesting. Let's see. There you go. It says, well, I think one cause of the spread of sexually transmitted infections here is that adultery is an accepted norm among many Caribbean men. In Europe, where I'm from, most married men who have affairs try to hide it. Here, many Caribbean men think it's cool to have a wife and girlfriends. It's regarded as macho. And men are proud of having a wife plus girlfriends on the side.
So
that's
true.
one of our cultural habits
that we have come to accept. It's the norm. I mean, you're not a man if you don't have a wife and a mistress, and this is one of the contributing factors.
Yes. We need to do a social study about the whole African society globally, right? Thank you for calling Spotlight. Go right ahead, please.
I have a quick question.
Yes, ma'am.
Recently, I went to one of the health centers, and just out of so I said, can I have some condoms? And they're like, okay, they're 25 cents a condom. And I go like, whoa, if the people is trying to promote awareness to AIDS, why sell condoms for 25 cents? Then you're going to have a lot of AIDS victims around. I was like, come on.
So you say it's too expensive?
Right, I mean, if you're having them free at one point, and you can walk in and you can get them, because I think that's to kick everybody. As long as you can get them for free, then at least you know that, okay, let me go and get some, if you're in a situation where you're unable to buy them. But if you're going in and you have to buy them, then some people might decline buying them and then walk away, and then that's when you'll have a problem with more HIV people walking around. I mean, that's how I feel personally.
Well, yeah, thank you very much for that.
Okay, and that's a good point.
That's a good point.
It's a very good concern. Over the years, the National AIDS Program has purchased condoms and have distributed them free of cost. We encountered problems in the last year where we would leave plates of condoms at the front in the foyer, and people would come and just take at their leisure, and it was going well. But we noticed that, keeping an observation, people were taking the plate and emptying it into bags. So you're not taking one or two just to go with. And so a decision was made to request donations. Now, anyone can get free condoms from the National AIDS Program. That is not anything that is non-negotiable. It is, you can get free condoms if you want. We do ask for a donation though, to create a greater sense of responsibility, because at the end of the day, we have to look at how sustainable that is. I mean, we're in hard economic times. At the end of the day, we have to find ways to use our resources to the best of our abilities. At the end of the day, these are taxpayers' monies, and yes, it will come back to the taxpayer. Anyone can get free condoms, but we do ask for a donation of 25 cents just to help with the purchase.
Okay, cool. So who could afford it will give,
Yes,
and who can't afford it
will
take.
get. Yes.
Cool. Let's say the man has HIV and the woman doesn't. Can HIV be passed on even if the man withdraws before ejaculating, which has a virus?
Oh Lord, that is such a very good question. Of course, the man can infect the lady even if he withdraws, because there is something called pre-cum, and a lot of men have pre-cum before they actually ejaculate. There is some moisture that comes from your genitals before you actually have an orgasm. So yes, even if a man withdraws, he can still infect a woman.
Okay. Okay, what do you do when you know a person with HIV infects another, and that person comes in and they name their partner? What do you do when you hear the same name being called?
Can you
Let me read that again. Let me see. What do you do when you know a person with HIV infects another person?
Okay.
Okay, that's first part of the question. And that person comes in and they name their partner. I guess that person that the affected other person comes in and say who they affected.
Okay.
And what do you do when you hear that same name being called again? So the person is doing it repeatedly.
Intentionally.
Yeah.
Okay. At the end of the day, the responsibility, like I said, lies with the law. And if we know that one person is infecting a person, we will infecting others.
You report it.
We report it. We actually call the person in and let them know that we know what they're doing, and we will press charges. But the charges will depend on a lot of things. It will depend on a lot of things. And we do educate persons who are infected on the importance of not just protecting other people, but protecting themselves. Because someone with HIV can become reinfected with a different strain, and that can make it harder to treat. So you're not just using condoms to protect yourself, you're also protecting others, you're also protecting yourself. But if someone is intentionally infecting others, it's something that will require drastic action for us to deal with as a health department. And we would definitely have to pull them in and try to deal with it right
And
away.
know that you said that you need to restate the point that two partners with that's HIV positive doesn't mean that they could have sex without protection.
Not only that, a lot of people leave their protection to the other person. Even in a situation like this, why should I depend on my partner to protect me? I am responsible for me, and so 50% of the responsibility lies with me. I say 100% of the responsibility, because at the end of the day, even if a man comes with a condom, even myself as a woman should have my own condoms, because I don't know if he pricked it, I don't know if he stored it properly, and so that condom, his condom can break. We have to take responsibility for our own selves. So at the end of the day, I see where you're going, and like I say, it rests with the law, but at the end of the day, we still have a responsibility to ourselves.
Okay. What are the chances?
But you did say persons who are infected still need to protect themselves.
Yes, I'm sorry. Right. We need to get.
Yes, we do encourage partners who are HIV positive, whether one is infected and one is not, or both are infected, to use condoms, because there are two types of HIV virus: type 1 and type 2. Type 1 is found in the Caribbean, type 2 in Africa. But we as Caribbean people just love to remix, and so type 1 has 3 different strains, A, B, and C. So I may have type 1 strain A, you have type 1 strain B.
I can infect you with type 1 strain.
You can give me your strain, I can give you my strain, and I'm telling you, we've found persons who become reinfected, it is much harder to treat. Automatically they go on second-line medication, they go on the stronger ones because this virus has replicated itself. So it's much harder.
It's more costly.
It's stronger.
And the side effects of the treatment is worse, and your life expectancy might be even lower.
Shortened, yes.
Shortened, yes. What are the chances of HIV being transmitted between 2 women? They really asked some questions.
I like that. I'm proud of you, BVI. I'm so proud of you.
They really asked some
Excellent
questions.
question. To be honest with you, there is only 1 reported case globally, and I think it's in the US, where a lesbian couple got infected, and that was because they use, what I'm going to say now is supposed to be edited by parents, so please monitor your children. They use the same sex toy. One was infected and inserted the sex toy into the other without washing it. And so the possibility exists. It does exist, and so we encourage lesbian couples to still take precautions. You're not immune.
Well, I mean, that seems to be from, hearing about what lesbians do, because I don't, I'm not a lesbian myself.
Okay, Cromwell.
Let me just behave.
Yes, please.
Right? But it would seem to be that would be a common behavior that lesbians need to really take into consideration for their own safety.
Yes, yes.
Good night. How soon after exposure to HIV/AIDS should one get tested? Well, we wouldn't know how soon.
I would say if you've had unprotected sex, get tested right away and then retest in 3 months, just to ensure that that last sexual encounter did not cause you to become infected. At least 3 months, no later than 6 months, but at least 3 months.
Okay, here's a question I don't understand.
Okay.
Can a man's semen be cleaned to artificially inseminate a woman?
Yes.
What does that mean?
It means that they do it in Puerto Rico and in the US. They wash sperms. Even in Europe, they wash the sperms because, like we say, even though you're HIV infected, you still have a right to bear children. You still have a right to happiness just like everyone else. But the man's sperms can be washed, especially if one partner is uninfected. They would do it. Because usually with an infected partner, you can test the types of strains to find out if they're compatible and if they can have an unprotected sex. But if one partner is uninfected and one is infected, they will wash the sperms of the infected partner if it's a man, and then artificially inseminate the woman.
And so the woman will get pregnant without getting HIV and without having a child with HIV.
Because they will also put her on treatment. They will also put her on antiretrovirals and monitor her throughout the pregnancy.
So you could take the medication even though you're pregnant?
Just to ensure that you're not infected.
Then what impact would that have on the baby, the fetus?
It will block the virus if it's there.
But it won't have a negative impact on the child. That's interesting. Okay. Yes, indeed. Where were we? Yes, if you just joined us, you're going to need to check out this program on jtvlive.net because you've missed a lot of very important information.
Before you ask, you got your result, of course, and for persons coming to testing site or at the National AIDS Program, you will get your test result to go in your hand. It's for your record, as well as you can also take it to your doctor to put it on your medical file. But you will get a result stating the date and whether your HIV test was positive, negative, or indeterminate. And indeterminate means that the result was not, probably the test kit was expired or whatever, but we've never had an indeterminate result. Okay. So it's either positive or negative, and it's signed and stamped by the National AIDS Program.
You get your certificate of good health.
Yes. For your present.
Not good health, but
yes.
your present status.
Yes.
All right, cool. Condom use.
Yes.
Yes. Talk to us about condom use and, well, tell us about the romantic way to use a condom. Because, a condom could be a real pain.
Yes.
You gotta stop in the middle of the passion. You gotta tear this thing open, and you gotta try to get it on. And then, So it's a mess.
I know what you're talking about.
It's a mess. And then it reduces the feeling, all kind of things.
Yes.
So you need to tell us how we're going to get this thing managed.
All right, you're saying romantic way to use a condom.
Yes.
Well, for women, I know a lot of guys who enjoy having sex with women who use female condoms because it's pleasure for two. There's an inner ring and an outer ring on the female condom. The inner ring provides pleasure to the tip of the man's penis when he's inside the woman, and the outer ring rubs on the clitoris. Actually, I have a friend who walks around with a female condom only because it just gives her good vibes.
Okay.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, for a male condom, I can teach women how to put that condom on with their mouth. I think it creates a lot of fun. We also have different textures, colors, flavors, sizes. So there's so many options. And I mean, even in marriages, I mean, we have glow in the dark. You can experiment, have fun, role play using a condom. Find creative ways to do it so that you have sex safely. At the end of the day, knowing your status complements everything else. Knowing your status and that of your partner.
So you who do this training here? You do the training?
I can teach a woman how to, just to make it fun, because I mean, yeah.
But the female condom though, that isn't that a little challenging?
No, it's not.
No,
No, it's not. No, it's not. It's the FC2 is a female condom, and once it's inserted, a woman can keep it in for up to 8 hours. So she can put it in the morning, hook up lunchtime for a quickie, and she's good to go. There's no tearing, there's no ripping, there's no putting on. It's already there.
So
she can put it on before she goes to the club, and she can have a good time. It stays in for up to 8 hours, and then she can take it out and discard it.
And when she's going to bed with her partner, she could put it in, so you don't have to worry about
while
the condom.
she's prepping herself.
You don't have to worry about the condom.
It's not a problem.
So right after your bath and your perfume and stuff,
Put it on.
you put in the condom. You know, that sounds a little better than the male
easier.
condom,
It's
right?
easier.
It's easier.
Yes.
Yeah. Now we were talking about lifestyle, and you had mentioned about the aggressiveness of women. It used to be a time when I remember when I was a young person, you couldn't talk to women you couldn't talk to a young woman about sex. You know, and now young women are talking to you about sex.
Our society has evolved.
So that's another aspect of our lifestyle, our evolution as persons regarding the transmission of the HIV infection.
Yeah, women, it's surprising because women in years gone by used to be more passive and wait for a guy to approach. Not anymore. I mean, I don't know if we've explored our sexuality and found that we can be just as bad or what the situation is, but at the end of the day, a lot of women are more the aggressors now. I mean, a lot of men complain that every day they're hounded by women chasing them down for sex. And it's scary because a woman who is the aggressor wants to show that she can handle it, and so she wouldn't even pull out a condom or even ask for a condom because she's coming after you and she wants it any which way. And so it puts both parties in a compromising position. It's very scary.
And it's also very exciting.
It's exciting, huh?
Yeah, I mean, you know, for a man who used to have to be chasing women all the time, right? And to have women chase you.
Some men don't like it. Some men that I've spoken to, they say
they don't.
They don't, because a lot of men, some men are old school.
You need to take a survey of the men that
like it and don't like it.
And don't like it, right?
Okay.
And I applaud the men that don't like it.
Yes.
You know, because it shows a certain character.
Yes. And some men say, what you got so that you pushing yourself on me to give. A lot of men like the alarm.
That's a good point.
It's scary.
That's
if a woman chasing you, don't.
Yeah, that's a good point.
What did you have so that you got give to me?
Yeah,
you know?
that's a good point because it's scary. But it's scary now because of the education.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's very good. I'm glad to hear that. But to me, you know, that seemed to be an exciting thing to have women chase you, particularly old men who, you know, from the old school had to do all the chasing, right? Now, how do you resist that? I mean, it puts you in a situation where you have to say no to a woman who chasing you to give you sex, you know, and that attack on your macho. You know, to have to say no. I mean, how does that affect us as a society and impact the spread of HIV?
Well, I mean, to begin with, a man it takes a lot of strength to say no, especially to a woman who's hot, sexy, good looking, seem to have it all going on. And each man will have to decide who they are and what they really want at the end of the day. Is it just a quick fix, or at the end of the day, am I willing to live with whatever consequences, be it that she becomes pregnant or she infects me with HIV, whichever way it goes. Every man has to decide, just like Bob Marley said, every man have a right to decide his own destiny. And it's at that point in time, I'm telling you, every man in the BVI has a moment to decide before they say yes or no. You have a split second from which you could decide, yes, I go in with you all the way, or no. Or if I do, we're going to use a condom.
And that moment there is a very
powerful moment.
Very important moment.
It is.
And that's a moment that I've been trying to be talking to you about for a long time, to be able to say no at that moment. That is a real key issue for me in the spread of HIV.
And I also say it really takes a real man to say no, Cromwell. A real man will stand up and say no. I won't, I can't, done with it. Because it's the easiest thing to do is to say yes. Drop your pants and say, come, let's get it done. That's the easiest thing to do.
Particularly in that situation.
It takes more guts. And if you can prove
more
yourself,
courage.
Trust me, you are coming
and strength of character.
And any woman will testify or say that they respect a man who turned them down. They have more respect for that man.
Yes. I got a bunch of other questions here, and I got under the tyranny of the clock. I shouldn't have talked so much.
Okay.
But can HIV be transmitted by oral sex?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, oral, vaginal, and anal.
Okay. Good night, lesbian has a lot of oral sex. Could HIV be transmitted this way?
Yes, it can, especially if there's a cut.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, same question. Okay, why don't you see condoms available in bars and grocery stores? These are areas that need them, and store owner can give donation to the foundation if you provide them. So you should give, but grocery stores sell, everywhere sell condoms.
Every pharmacy and supermarket sells condoms.
Gas stations.
But not just that. The National AIDS program, we have done a condom distribution drive where we've gone to bars, brothels, strip clubs, and we have given condoms. If you don't see condoms, it means that the owner has not come back to refill their bottles, because every one of them have a bottle. And if you are watching and you own an establishment and you haven't gotten a bottle yet, you need to contact us, because we will fill your bottle and send it back out to you. It's very difficult because we are a staff of 2 now. I have an assistant, Miss Kenya Jeffers. Kudos to you, Kenya. You're doing a great job. But at the end of the day, we're limited in terms of getting to everybody all the time. Okay. So the onus is on the bar owners to let us know when they're low or if they're finished, and we can refill. Okay,
a couple of seconds. Well, after all this, it seems like HIV isn't that easy to catch because it seems to be so specific. But if you get it, you know exactly what happened. So it is relieving to know that you don't have to be in fear so much.
Yes.
So that's all you have to say about that.
Yes, I agree totally with whatever they put. Yes.
Well, we followed the tyranny of the clock.
As usual.
Yes, and I think we've covered a tremendous amount tonight. A lot of questions, and I really appreciate the audience participation tonight, because they asked some really important questions, and a lot of them. So that was good.
That proves that our community is listening. People are listening, and I'm proud of you. I'm happy and I'm grateful. I'm truly grateful, because at the end of the day, there's no way that the National AIDS Program or the HIV/AIDS Foundation will be able to progress if it was not for you.
Yes.
Thank you.
And of course, thank you for the fabulous,
thank you too, Cromwell. Thank you. You are my you are my promotion. You are my help. Anytime I need a crutch, anytime I need a promo, I just call you and
I'm here all the time.
Yeah, you cancel whatever show for the National AIDS Program. I'm happy. I'm happy for that.
JTV, the community program.
I got you.
Community station.
Yes, it is.
Yes, and you're doing a fantastic job and really great work.
Thank you very much.
Yes. And next week, the spotlight will be on the Girls Brigade.
Okay.
Right? And we'll be talking about the role of the Girls Brigade in building young women into adults with strong values, self-control, reverence, and a life enrichment, a life of enrichment through spiritual, physical, educational, training, and service.
Yes.
So that's going to be right in with HIV prevention, getting young women to stop their aggression and to get control of themselves. So we're going to be talking about next week with the Girls Brigade. That's a great program I think the Girls Brigade has, and we need to know about it. We need to see how we could develop it and get our young women involved in the Girls Brigade. So Spotlight is going to be on the Girls Brigade next Tuesday. The Spotlight is seen every Tuesday at 8 p.m. and is rebroadcast on Sunday afternoons at 2:30 p.m. You can also catch all the Spotlights that you miss on jtvlive.net at any time you like. Thank you for watching. Thanks for your words of encouragement. Continue to email us at jtvspotlight@yahoo.com. I'm Edgienko, reminding you that when the Spotlight is on, you see the facts. Peace and blessings.
This program is sponsored by the law firm of J.S. Archibald & Co. and by the trust company J.S. Archibald Trust Services Limited, both of Roadtown, Tortola, BVI.